So the sun is low. Notice that paint can. Shadows are long because the sun is low. Now I did post something the other day, and evidently it's not very important because it only got like 8 views. But if you look at the trailer, the shadow of the trailer, see how that shadow is longer. And now if I was to come out and photograph this paint can sitting where it is every half an hour up until time the sun went down, you would see the shadow moving around the can. And it would start in the direction that it's going, and it's going to rotate clockwise until it's sundown. It's pointing, the shadow's going to be pointing the other direction. So I said I would look at the shadows of Abby and Libby, Bridge Guy. I did. Everything that I see, and I adjust for daylight savings times, and I can map it real world, real time, and I can go back in the past, probably go back to the future. So I went back to the 13th of February, 2017, and I matched the shadows that's being cast by Bridge Guy and Abby on the bridge, and I adjust for Greenwich Mean Time -4, which is where Delphi is, and I have the lat long of Delphi, and I have the lat long coordinates of the bridge, and I overlay that on the satellite photograph of the bridge. Those shadows are at 1700, not 1430. So the video is a lie. Not that it's a lie, but something is not right here. Now there's a couple other things that could be tested because I don't take anything at face value. But as far as what I put into the software, and it's mapping the whole earth, even though you're looking at a very small window of just one town, one location, one bridge. It was 680 feet, something like that, from start to finish. They went to the far side, and she came back and she said, "There's no path. There's no path. We have to go down here." And I was wrong about something else. In the one summary, and I don't think I've posted it yet, I was talking about Bridge Guy wearing a faded camouflage patterned hat, similar to Ron Logan. And that's because the photo is blurry. So you have to make a couple of inductive leaps. But I think I was wrong about that. Bridge Guy is wearing the type of hat that Anthony Klein wears, which is Keegan Klein's father, the pedophile that was arrested and got 40 years. The guy that was sending photographs of Anthony shots to Libby. Libby went out there that one day to meet with a boy because she's a young girl. She's a heavyset girl. Maybe she wasn't that popular at school. I don't know. But like a lot of young girls of that age bracket, and their juices are flowing. The hormones are there, and she wants to experience certain things. And if you have children, especially female children, daughters, if you were a young boy in high school and you were around young girls in high school, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Were they going to go all the way? No, probably not. But she was going to go out there to meet a boy, and because Abby's her friend, Abby went with her. So the two of them went out there to meet somebody. And it seems to be that they were there to meet at the Monon High Bridge, and they were probably given instructions. And this is an inductive leap based off of deductive reasoning. But they were probably given instructions from somebody that wasn't at the bridge, never was at the bridge, never intended to go to the bridge, which, who does that sound like? Sounds like Keegan Klein, doesn't it? Maybe his father was there. Maybe his father was friends of Ron Logan. Because we don't have information on Ron Logan with pedophilia as a pedophile. But Ron Logan comes from a 5-generational family. That wouldn't be something that you would want to put out there. Was Ron Logan an Odinist? Don't know. But the bigger question, another question to ask, was he a Mason? Was he a Mason? Because Mason lodges are very big in Indiana. And you cover up the Brotherhood. Was he in another group? He smacked his girlfriend when she told him she was breaking it off. He smacked her side of her face with a crescent wrench. That's domestic battery. With what could be, depending on how you look at the evidence, could be a deadly weapon. Blunt force trauma at the minimum. And it's an aggravated assault because you used a handheld item. If I pick up a bottle of Simple Green and smack you in the head with it, that bottle of Simple Green is now a weapon. If I hit you in the face with my fist is a weapon. So don't give me this crap that Michael Brown was unarmed when he was 6 foot, 300 pounds and punching people. He was armed with his arm, with his fist. It wasn't a firearm. There's a difference. Ron Logan smacked his girlfriend upside her face and sent her to the hospital. And you have an expert out here, and I've watched some of his stuff, and I just ignore it, that Ron Logan has no history of violence. And what he said was the truth, but what he said was a lie. He said Ron Logan's never been convicted. That's true. He was never charged. You got to ask why. Why? If I smacked my ex-girlfriend with a crescent wrench, she would be on her way to the hospital. I would be on my way to jail, but not Ron Logan. He put a girl in the hospital. The maxillofacial injury, for you experts that like big words, and he was never charged. Why? Why? Were the police asleep at the switch, or were they told to look the other way? Nothing to see here. Move along as the fireworks building is blowing up in the background. I think I saw that on a movie somewhere. Here's the deal. What you're seeing is not true. And the prosecutor was out there watching that idiot on YouTube. he believes in the science. Well, here's the science. Here's the science. That video was made somewhere around 1700, not 1430.